Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I have Presidential Ambassador Cassie on here, and I'm so excited to be able to hear a little bit more of your story. Here's some tips on, you've been in the business for 4 years now, and it's been ups and downs and zigzags and all over the place, but something about this last year has just skyrocketed your business, and I want to learn from you. We all want to learn from you. Bringing in over 200 customers in 1 month. So we've got obviously plenty of questions for you, and just getting to know you a little bit more. So if you can go ahead and tell us a little bit about your story and how you got started, and I'm curious of how this business was presented to you as well.
Okay, so when I joined this business 4 years ago, obviously in 2015, March of 2015. So before this business, I was a hairdresser and I worked full time in the salon, and I was just kind of getting started with my career. I had been in years, which is still really new, coming out of school. And am I unmuted now? Can you hear me? Just nod. Yeah. Okay. So I was just really new into being a hairdresser. And so for those of you that don't know a hairdresser, or maybe you aren't one, it kind of takes a few years to kind of get your feet off the ground, to get an established clientele, because you pretty much go from being in school to like working in a straight commission type of salon usually. And so to have any kind of paycheck, like you have to have people in your chair to make money, because usually it's a based off of commission somewhat. So for me, coming out of school, I moved to a city. I'm from Dallas. I had moved to Houston right when I got out of hair school. And so I was in a city where I knew nobody. I had no friends. My family was 4.5 hours away from me. And so it was very hard for me to kind of get my business off the ground as a hairdresser. So I had kind of gotten to this place in my business, you guys, where I was working at a new salon. Again, didn't have any friends in the area, didn't have family in the area. And so I was kind of trying to get my business off the ground. And I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I was struggling. Okay. When I say struggling, I mean, like, I got paid every 2 weeks and I barely had enough to pay half of the rent at my apartment. Okay. So it was like not fun. I was 23 years old at the time, which is crazy to say now because I'm 27 and I'll be 28 this year, which is like mind blowing to me because I'm like, where did 4 years go? Like, I literally could not tell you. So when I joined, I was just kind of in this place where I was like, that was like expected. Like, I thought every 23-year-old struggled. I thought it was normal to like live paycheck to paycheck and not be able to afford gas and not be able to afford groceries and have to ask my family for help, which was not easy to do. And I just thought that was a thing. Like, I just thought people my age just struggled, and not very many people that I knew at my age, even on social media, like made a good type of income coming out of college, right? So I was just in this place, you guys, where I just wanted more. I wanted such a different life for myself. And I just kind of got to this point one day where I was like, am I going to keep living the same routine over and over, have the same schedule at this salon, work my butt off hours and hours and hours to barely make it by, to finally get, because you can make a great income as a hairdresser. It just takes a while. It takes a couple of years to get an established clientele, to make an established type of paycheck. So with that being said, I just didn't see, I loved what I did. I loved being a hairdresser. I still love it to this day. It just was, I was just in this place where I didn't see the path that I was on getting me to the life that I wanted for myself. I just didn't picture that. And so I kind of had this moment where I was like, well, what am I going to do about it? Because I knew that I was the one that had to make that type of decision, because I didn't know what else was out there than than the lifestyle that I was already living, because I was just young and that was all I knew. So I actually was driving to work one morning. And if you're this type of person, like, you can nod. I'm like watching some of you. I was the type of person, you guys, before this business, where I was super shy. Again, let me repeat, I did not have any friends when I joined this business, okay, because I was a workaholic. All I did was go to work every single day, come home, go to bed, wake up, and do it all over again. That was my life. And I was the type of person that got on social media and I just scrolled. And I would just look at everybody else's life and see what everybody else was doing. And I was just nosy. I never hardly ever posted anything myself. It was just kind of one of those things where I was like, oh, cool, she's doing that. Or, oh, yeah, they went on vacation. Like, it was just, that was kind of what I did on social media. And one day, on Instagram, of all places, because I was not a big Instagrammer, I was scrolling through Instagram and I crossed this girl's picture on my news feed. And it was a before and after picture of defining gel, actually. And it was Erin Tweed. For those of you that don't know, she's my upline. And I have no idea how I started following her, because I swear to you, I have never seen her profile until that day. And I was literally about to pull into work, and I saw this picture, and I was like, oh my God, like whatever that product is, I need it, because I had been trying to get into a healthy lifestyle and trying to get rid of cellulite and lose weight and blah, blah, blah. Like most of us do. We get on, we get off, we get on, we get off, right? And this girl's picture was like identical to my body. And I was like, I have to freaking have whatever that product is. I had never heard of It Works. I had no idea it was network marketing. I had no idea if it worked. And I had never heard of Defining Gel. And so I instantly messaged her, and I was just like, listen, I don't know what this is, but you need to tell me how much it is. And if I can afford it, like I will get in trouble and ask for forgiveness later. Like I need it in my life right now. And so I literally spent like the last couple, like $50 that I had in my bank account, not kidding you, to buy Defining Gel, because I wanted it so bad. And I had literally been to Target previous days before that to try to buy like Mederma and Jergens and all these lotions that claimed that they help with smoothing out your skin, and freaking nothing worked for me. And I was desperate, and I just wanted something to help me. So I watched her page for 2 days, because now I'm like, okay, I just bought this random product from this girl that I don't even know on Instagram. Like that's not creepy at all. So I was like, I need to know who this girl is and what she does and what the heck is this business even about, right? I had the worst perspective on network marketing, because I had been approached in the past about different businesses that all of us have heard of. And I just never had a salesperson type of personality. And because I was so shy and didn't know anybody, I always told myself I couldn't be successful at it, because I was like, I can't sell that. I can't even sell shampoo at my salon that I don't believe in, because I don't like it. So I'm not going to tell my clients to buy it. So how the heck am I going to be able to like meet all these random people and run a successful business that I know nothing about, right? So I reached out to her, and I was like, listen, I need you to tell me about what you do. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, you're already a customer. I'm like, no, like you need to tell me how you make money, because she was a nurse at the time, married, had a kid, because they just had Finn at the time. And so, you know, she was living this life where she was traveling and had all these friends, and she was happy and making all this money. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, everything that I'm praying for right now, every time that I cry myself to sleep, or I'm stressed out because I can't pay for groceries, or I can only put $5 in my gas tank, everything that I'm praying for, you have. And I need to know what, like, how did you get, like, what did you do? What is this? I don't even know what this is. I need you to tell me everything. Come to find out, you guys, total God thing. She lived 5 miles from me. I have no idea how we crossed paths on Instagram to this day. She doesn't know. I don't know. Somehow I started following her to see her profile, obviously. Literally lived 5 miles from me. We met the next day, talked about the business. I signed up and never looked back. I was a customer for 2 days. I had not even gotten my product as a customer before I signed up to be a distributor. So for all those people that you talk to that say, I've never heard of it, I've never tried the product, I've never been a part of a network marketing business, I'm shy, don't know anybody, I live in a small town, blah, 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 blah. Hi, me, okay? No social media experience at all, okay? I had to learn everything that has helped me be successful. So if I can do it, then you can do it, or someone that you're talking to right now that has all the same excuses can do it too, okay? I'm the biggest overthinker in the world. I promise you, I'm the biggest one. So if I had not jumped when I did, I probably never would have signed up, because I just had this thought in the back of my mind where I was like, I need to do it now. I need to do it now. And something just kept telling me to reach out to her and sign up. And I was so freaking scared, and I was so nervous because of all those excuses, right? But I just had this gut feeling that this is something that I needed to chase after. And so I signed up. I never looked back. We kind of cast that vision and got that game plan. And, my goal that was given to me when I first started was to go diamond in 4 months. That was all I knew from the day I signed up. And that's exactly what I did. We went diamond in 4 months, earned a bonus that following February. I went, which was just shy of a year, went double. Then a year later went triple. And then 2 years later went press. So it's been freaking insane. Like I remember when I first joined you guys, I would hear people say, oh, I joined 5 years ago. I'm like, 5 years? Oh my God, that's like a lifetime. Now I'm like going on my 5th year, and I'm like, what? Like, this is insane. I can't even believe it's been that long. It's just mind blowing how much fun you can have with this business and just not even realize how much time passes. It's just freaking crazy to me. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I got started. 4 months after I hit diamond, right after I hit diamond in July of 2015, that following October, I actually quit my job because I just had this conversation with somebody in my family. And I was like, listen, like I never joined this business for the intentions of doing it full time or having that type of income. I never even dreamed that I could go diamond until that vision was kind of casted forth. And that belief that she had in me was kind of the belief that I used to believe in myself, because this was never something that I thought that I could do, you guys, until she said, hey, why not? Why not? I was like, yeah, why not? So I went for it. And that following October, I quit my job and I've done it full time ever since. And it's been the absolute biggest blessing in my life. Through so much life in between, it's just absolutely insane how different life looks now than it did when I joined. So you just have to be, you know, if you're new or you've been in this business for a couple years or a couple months or a couple weeks or a couple days, you just have to understand that everybody's journey looks different. And you just need to get real with yourself of what it is that you want out of this business. And then remind yourself of that every single day so that you have something to push you every single day. And I know that you guys get tired of hearing, what's your why? What's your why? What's your why? Well, there's a reason why people are asking you what your why is. Okay. Because there's going to be days where you don't feel like it. There's going to be days where you don't sign one customer and you beat yourself up. There's going to be days where you're in a bad mood, or maybe you're having the best day in the world. But there's going to be those days. And so you just have to make sure that you have your reasons of why you want this business to work for you at the forefront every single day that you wake up to open your business.
You just preached it to all of us. I love that you said that though at the very end, because I think that sometimes we have to remind ourselves our vision and our why over and over and over again. So like I have it like written in my wallet, like where I take money out every day. I have it like in my bathroom. I have it on my fridge. I have it. I mean, people probably when they come to my house think I'm crazy, but it's like everywhere where I see it, because sometimes we have to remind ourselves, but then also we need to hear it from other people, kind of holding us accountable and saying, what's your why? What's your why? So hearing, you know, leaders ask you your why over and over again. I love that you just said that, because we want to see you grow and everything, and to cast that vision for you. And for you to remind yourself of what that reason is. And your why changes over time too. And I think that's something that we forget to talk about sometimes, is like when I started this business, my why was to be able to pay for my insurance without having to ask my son's dad for money for it. Then it turned into I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And now that I've been a stay-at-home mom for 3 years, now I want to stay available to my son at any times of the day when he goes to school, or maybe even do homeschooling. But that was never even an option years ago when I was, you know, a single mom at 24 years old. You know, even thought of being able to be a stay-at-home mom would never even came into my mind, because my mind was so different back then. And so with our business, your why will continually change, and your story. I always like to tell people that we have a story, and listening to Cassie's story, it's so inspiring, because she's been in for a while, and because she continues to grow and grow and grow. And the reason for that is because she's consistent. And, you know, hearing other people's stories is, you know, you are creating your own story right now. And so if you don't have a story right now in the moment, you might, like Cassie said, you might have just started a week ago, 2 days ago, a month ago. If you don't have a story yet, know that you're creating it right now, but go and memorize another leader's story and tell their story over and over and over again until you feel comfortable telling your story. So I love that. I love that you're able to share that with us. I want to transition into the fact that you've signed 200 customers over 200 customers in 1 month. Because of course, all of us are like, what the heck did you do?
Girl, I'm like, what the heck did I do? I'm like, how did I do that? I don't get it.
I'm sure in the moment you're like, I'll just keep signing. And at the end, you're probably like, what?
Yeah, literally.
Happened?
You just get to a point, you know, where you just like lose count, and you're just like, I don't really remember. I just kept going, because it was like, oh, I got one. Oh, I got two. Oh, I just want to keep going, you know?
The fire like was lit in you, and you just kept going.
Literally.
So
like,
if you don't know, Cassie actually got her more than 200 customers by doing host to post predominantly. And actually on this interviewing with her, we're not really going to go over detailed into the host to post, because she has done so many other YouTube videos out there about what she's done. So I'm going to share my screen right now so you guys can see one of the most, I think one of the best ones that she's done. It was with Kelsey Thornton, just so you guys can see where you can find it. And it'll allow you to be able to go and watch it on your own time as well. But we're going to ask some like detailed questions though with Cassie on what are some things that she had to be consistent with doing with getting all of these customers? So let me screen share just so I can share this with you guys. So if you guys have your phone out, take a picture of this. It's on Kelsey Thornton's page. If you just type in Cassie Nero promo plus host to post tips, must listen. She cries, and it's really cute when she cries.
It's horrible. You guys know it's horrible.
But it was a really good detailed. She talks about like the scripts that she used. She talks about you know, when she was posting. I mean, this is a really good one. There are many out there, but this is just one that I think is one of the best ones. So Cassie, if you want to give us like a really quick overview of, let me bring us back into not sharing the screen, of just a host to post, and then what was something that you had to be consistent with to be able to get over 200 customers in that 1 month?
So for me, I just got really detailed with, obviously I was trying to promote for one. So that was like my biggest like motivation, I guess you'd say. And so I knew like we had to bring in so much volume. And so obviously trying to promote, I knew like volume was like what I needed. And so I remember like in the past when I've promoted to different ranks, I would get so caught up in looking at what I needed that it would almost slow me down, because I was so focused on what I needed rather than getting my butt to work and talking to as many people as I could and just bringing in as much volume as I could, rather than figuring out what the goal was and just deducting from it. You know what I mean? Like talking to customers, doing host posts, working my business, getting in what I could, deducting it from what I needed, rather than just constantly focusing on that needed number. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you guys, like you can look at the number that you need to hit a promotion, especially now that you have to have minimums, and it can literally freak you out. Okay? Like when we went Prez, we literally needed like over 50,000 volume. Okay. So imagine seeing that and being like, like, how are we going to do that in like 28 days?
Let me turn it inside out. It's inside out.
Did that in February. So 28 days. That's like retarded. So it's like, it honestly just comes, first of all, if you're going towards a promotion or, you know, you have a specific goal, because like if you're wanting to mass enroll, especially massive volume, then, you know, you just have to make the decision and you have to break it down into like realistic goals for yourself, so that you're making sure that you're being proactive with what you're doing with your business every day. Not, okay, I need 40,000 volume this month to go for my promotion. Okay, well, how are you going to get that 40,000 volume? Are you just going to like work your business daily and just pray to God that that 40,000 shows up? Or are you going to have like a game plan to what you need to bring in every single day to make sure that you hit that minimum of 40,000, right? So for me, it was one, obviously knowing what we needed. But instead of paying attention to what we needed, it was just constantly working, being consistent with host posts, because that's what works for me. That's what I teach my team. Because for me, it's like, if you can expand your network, have someone else do the work for you, and message people all at the same time from one post, why would you not utilize that? That's how I look at it. Because essentially, every time somebody posts for you guys, that's a whole new network of people that could be seeing that post, that's going to interact with that post. And those are all new friends that have opened the door to say, I'm interested, that you can bring into your network that you didn't even have to approach because they approached you, right? Like, how awesome is that? And then all you're doing is sending them the information that they asked for. Why is that scary, right? I think some people just get so freaked out about host posts and they're like, oh, I don't know how to talk to people. I'm like, why? Like, they're asking for the information, just send it to them. That's all you got to do. So the biggest thing with host posts, you guys, until you get the hang of it, or even when you get the hang of it, in my opinion, for it to be effective, is to follow up. Okay. You always hear fortune is in the follow-up, and that is so crucial in this business, but especially with host posts, because it's so easy to message 5 people that comment on a host post and give them information. And then if they can't sign up right now, then what are you going to do? Are you putting them in your calendar? Are you getting their phone number? Are you contacting them when they say that they're going to be available? If they say they can't pay till payday, okay, are you asking them when payday is? Are you telling them when you're going to contact them, not when they're going to contact you? Because if I were you, You always need to be the one that's in control. You're the distributor. It's your job to take care of the customer, to take care of the distributor, not theirs. So you have to make sure that you're the one that's constantly in control. So for me, it wasn't just host post, because host post is amazing and it's effective. But in order for it to be effective, you have to do your part. You can't just have someone make a post and then just leave it and hope to God you get 50 comments, right? You need to be interacting on it. You need to be sharing before and after pictures on it. At least that's what I do. When people are commenting, I'm immediately getting with them. I'm giving them the information. I'm holding those conversations. I utilize text replacements in my phone. If you have an iPhone, I don't know if Android does it, but it is a lifesaver. Okay. So I don't have to copy and paste the same messages over and over and over and over to people. I have them all pre-typed out in my phone. For those of you that don't know what text replacement is, okay, it's basically like if I want to say, hey girl, how are you doing? Like if I wanted to say that, I could put that in a text replacement as my phrase, and my shortcut would be H1 for hey one. It's message number 1, H for hey, okay? So I would put H1. And if I wanted to message somebody, I would type in Megan's name and I would put H1 space, and it would put the whole sentence there for me. So it's like a shortcut telling your phone, when every time I type this word, this is what I want you to put in replacement of it. That's basically what it is. Okay. So for me, it's been a huge time saver because it allows me to have conversations 10 times faster. So if you don't utilize that, I would definitely recommend that you do, because it will make your conversations, like, you guys, I can send out 50 to 100 host post messages to ask people to do host posts for me in less than 5 minutes. And if I'm proactive about it and I'm not distracted and doing other things. And if I'm replying to people, as soon as people start replying, like let's say my message for my host post is H1 for host post. Okay. So I would type in H1, enter, H1, enter, H1, enter. That's 3 people already, and it's been 3 seconds. Okay. So when they're replying, my second message is H2. So when they respond and they're like, whatever they say to my response, then I type in H2 space, H2 space, H2 space. So I'm sending all the same messages to the same freaking people because it's the same conversation. So imagine how much faster that can go. So it's all about managing your time. So if you don't utilize that, I would highly recommend that you do. Google it, figure out how to set it up on your phone. There's tons of YouTube videos. That's what I had to do when I figured out how to set it up. And now I have them for like all types of conversations. And so that will save you a lot of time if you don't already do that. So as far as
here, real quick before you go on, one thing with host to post too, that's really important is that Facebook doesn't flag you as quickly when you use a text replacement, rather when you do copy and paste, because they don't see it as a duplicate copy and paste, rather than they're just seeing it as a brand new message going through. So a lot of people are getting blocked and stuff like that right now for messaging the same thing by copying and pasting too many times in a short period of time. But if you're using text replacement, Facebook isn't going to be blocking you because they see it as more of just a message rather than a copy paste message. So
yes, Instagram is the same way, by the way, because I was the pro, but put in Facebook jail and Instagram jail. Because I would copy and paste all these messages, even if it was a different message and I had like 3 or 4 of them that I would like do different and they were just very generic, I still got put in jail. So text replacements will help keep you from that happening to you, because it, again, doesn't recognize it as a pasted message, which is amazing. Plus it takes you half the time to type in 2 letters rather than paste something, in my opinion. Okay, so in that video that she talked about with Kelsey, pretty much it covers all the details of literally everything that I did in February to be able to bring in mass amounts of customers. And for me, you guys, one of the biggest things that I think I talked about it in that video, wasn't the fact of like, for me, my mindset has changed so much since conference, because when I joined this business, for me, it was, I got to bring in as many freaking customers as I can. And when I saw people signing like 30 customers a month, 30 to me was like 200. And I was like, how the hell are they bringing in 30 customers a month? That's freaking retarded. Like, that's insane. Like, how do they do that? I was lucky if I could sign 5, because I was like, 5 to me was like a lot, right? When I first joined. So I was like, how the heck are they doing that? So my mindset was always, I need to bring in as many customers as I could. I never focused on BV. I just focused on getting as many customers in the system as I could every single month to fill my steps to success, and then some. So when we went to conference this year, I've always watched all these trainings with how to bring in volume, or, you know, big leaders giving tips on how to get massive sales or whatever, not just, you know, maximizing a one customer. So instead of signing up somebody just for hair, skin, and nails, why don't you recommend collagen on top of that? Because that boosts your BV, boosts your sale, and gets more product in your customer's hands. Okay, so it introduces them to more products. So there's obviously multiple benefits to it. And my mindset was always kind of like, not negative, but I was just very like, I think I subconsciously was like, well, if they're interested in this, I need to get them in right now. Like, I don't want to waste my time trying to get them interested in something else and ask them to spend more money and then them say no. And then I've either lost them completely or they just don't want to spend more money. I just had that drilled in my head that like people don't want to spend more money than what I'm asking them to spend. I don't know why. I just did that. And I think a lot of people on here could probably relate to that. Am I right? So for me, when we went to conference this year, it was, I forget what panel it was, but it was Christy Christensen. And she said, we don't 30 BV nobody. You guys, that sentence was drilled in my brain from the second that it came out of her mouth. I was like, I've heard this probably 100,000 million times on Zooms and trainings, that so many leaders teach their teams how to upgrade and how to add on other products from the beginning, that you don't know any different, right? But I had always had this mindset where I was blocked off to it. So for me, it was always a matter of just getting in as many customers as I could. If I signed 10 customers, yeah, cool, sign 10 customers. But if those 10 customers were 30 BV, is that still beneficial? Absolutely. But what if those 10 customers were like 90 BV or more? You know how much more effective that is? You know how much more volume that is? How much more money that is? Right? Okay, that's a lot. Let's do the math. So when I heard her say that, it was like light bulb. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, why am I not like making these sales way bigger than they are? Because that could be so much more effective. And Courtney Williams actually gave us a tip in our leader chat that same month about upgrading her customers to the triple threat, which is what we called at the time the Cleanse, Fat Fighters, and Thermophyte X. So a lot of people now are using that, or they're using the coffee greens and Thermophyte X. So that there's kind of like two kind of swimming around right now for those of you that have probably seen them. So that's kind of what I started with, was the Cleanse, Fat Fighter, and TFX. And that was when TFX launched. So it's been like a huge success, right? Everybody wants to get their hands on it. Everybody's seeing amazing results. It's such an awesome product. So I use that hype along with those three products. And I just kind of got my mindset into, well, why wouldn't they spend more money? If I'm educating them on the product and I'm telling them that these products are what is going to get them the best results, because this is how they work together and this is what they do. If they're wanting to invest money into a weight loss system, then they're going to get better results than just with one product, right? So I just instantly just had this aha moment where my perspective just flipped. And that was what was drilled in my brain was, well, I'm never going to just offer Thermophyte X, you guys. In fact, when I do a host post for Thermophyte, I tell them what Thermophyte is when I message those people that are commenting, which is explained in that video, but I never, ever, ever, ever give them the price of the Thermophyte by itself, ever. Never comes out of my mouth. And if they tell me that they want to order it by themselves, like by itself, it usually doesn't get to that, because if it does, I always recommend that they at least get Fat Fighters, or if you're doing the coffee, they at least get the coffee, or they at least get the greens, for whatever explanation that you're giving them. But I always recommend one other thing if they won't do the whole package, so that one, I'm still upping my BV and my sale, but two, they're still maximizing their results. Because at the end of the day, like, yes, a burner is amazing and they're going to get awesome results, but you need something to follow up with it so that they're keeping those results, right? Or they're implementing those healthier changes into their life to keep the results that they're getting. So it's all about educating them. And so for me, I share that because I think a lot of people can kind of relate to having that perspective sometimes, where we just subconsciously are like, well, they want to spend this, they're going to spend $36. But if I tell them it's $36 and then I say, but I always recommend this package for this amount of money, they're going to see $36 and they're going to see $97 and be like, I'd rather spend 36, right? Most people aren't going to go for 97 when they see 36, no matter what you tell them. So that's why I don't ever do that. So anyways, that was kind of off topic, but that's all in that video. But I would, to sum it all up, it comes down to following up and being consistent. You can't do 5 posts for like 3 days in a row and be like, none of them blew up. None of them did anything. I give up. It doesn't work for me. No, it works. It works. Okay. My whole team does this. I know multiple teams that do host posts and have success with it on Instagram, on Facebook. So, pick the platform that you work best with and then pick something and be consistent with it. And I promise you, the more consistent that you are every single day, it will pay off. Not every host post that you do is going to get 5,000 comments. Not every single one is going to get 1 comment. Some of them do nothing. I could have 10 people post for me today and not one of them will get 1 comment. That's okay. Because guess what? Tomorrow, I'm going to have 10 more people post for me. Okay. So you just have to keep being consistent. It's not that it's not working. A lot of the times the algorithm works against you. So you just have to make sure that, again, you're consistent, because it's not always that people are seeing the post and they're not interested. It's that Facebook literally doesn't show it to anybody. I can't tell you all the algorithm, like how it works and everything, because there's so many things that go into it, but ultimately that's what it comes down to. So just make sure you're organized to some extent when you do host posts. Like if people are commenting, make sure you're keeping track of who's commenting. Keep it in your timeline review and go back to it and follow up, or write their names down. That's what I did in February. I wrote every person's name down that commented because I didn't want to lose track of anybody. I would always friend request every single person that commented, and I would message every single person that commented. That way I'm adding to my network, I'm sending out my messages, I'm getting them the info, and I'm maximizing every single lead that I have. And then I just kept, you guys, if they didn't read my message, or even if they did, I just kept following up and following up and following up. And like every couple of days, I just went through that list of those people that I had written down from all those posts, and I just followed up with every single person daily. So I'm a psycho. I'm just being honest.
I mean, it paid off, so.
Cool.
I'm going to put it in perspective, because I didn't even tell you that I was going to ask you this, but hopefully you kind of know. But about how many people did you ask to have them host a post for you versus the people who actually did host a post for you in that month?
Okay, so let's put it this way. I messaged my entire Facebook friends list. Okay.
So about like 5,000?
I went through the whole list. So right now I have 4,385 friends. Okay. This was in February. So I still think I had like 4,000, but between now and then I've probably unfriended people and gained new friends. Cause I try to keep it below 5,000 because I don't ever want to max out. You know what I mean? Because if I'm continuously doing host posts, I want room to bring in new blood every single day. So that sounds so creepy when I say new blood. New potentials. Okay, let's rephrase it. New potentials every single day. Like I always want to be bringing in new people. And so I try to make sure that I keep room. But I mean, I know that it was probably at least at 4,000 then. So I started, like when you print your Facebook friends list, or even when you download it, it shows you like the day that you became friends with that person. So you know like how long you've been friends with them on social media. So I always start like at 2009 when I got a Facebook, because those are the people I've been friends with the longest. And then I work my way up to the most recent year. That way people that I just became friends with in 2019, I'm not messaging them immediately. Right? Because I just became friends with them. So it gives them a couple like days to kind of see my profile and stuff like that as I'm working my way through that list. So yeah, I mean, in February, I went through that entire list. So imagine, I mean, granted, now I was also messaging not just my friends list, but any customer that I signed, I asked them to do a host post because they're brand new, they're ordering the product. And even the people that commented on host posts that were saying, I can't really afford it right now, maybe at a later time, that either ended up signing up or didn't and just couldn't afford it, I asked them to do a host post for me because why not? So I would send every single person a friend request, and I asked every single person. So 4,000 probably plus some with all the people that were commenting. So now as far as how many people actually posted for me, I couldn't tell you. I have no freaking clue. Obviously a lot, but I mean, I had to message a lot of people, you guys, and it wasn't even like, I didn't even keep track of how many messages I was sending a day. Like, I obviously had a goal to message daily, but my goal wasn't message 100 people and then I'm done. Message another 100 people and then I'm done. It wasn't sign 5 customers and then I'm done. I was always very BV driven because of that mindset. So for me, and what I teach my newbies is, I focus more on, okay, obviously when you're a newbie, you want to go find your 4 customers, right? Okay, so we teach, go find your 4 customers. Well, once you're getting in the groove of signing customers, for me, it's more of that mindset of, okay, today my goal is going to be to bring in 200 BV. My goal is 200 BV today. Okay, so I'm not going to go do 5 host posts and then stop, or message 100 people and then stop, because my goal is not to just sign 1 customer unless that customer is 200 BV or more. My goal is 200 BV. So if I have to do 20 host posts, or if I have to send 500 messages, that's what I'm going to do until I hit the goal that I have for myself that day. So again, if you're focused on adding those upgrades and adding on to those orders, imagine how much faster you get to that goal. I could get there in 2 or 3 customers rather than like 10 to 15. So it's all about flipping your mindset. And if you're worried about people adding on to their orders or enrollments, don't be, because what are they going to do? The worst they can do is say no. It's literally the worst that can happen.
So good. For some reason, this kind of came into mind, and I feel like I need to say it for some reason, because I think somebody needs to hear it who's on here. There was something, I used to be the store manager of a clothing store when I was 19, and my district manager told me something that completely changed my life in sales. Because I've done like sales with a clothing company, then I was the marketing director for UCF, so still with like sales and marketing, and then this. And so she said, just because you're broke doesn't mean they're broke. And that's always stayed with me. And I think that sometimes in this business, I mean, 99% of the time we start this business because we need money. And like when I started this business, I was broker than broke, like not even close to anything, barely making it by. And so my mentality was like, I don't have $36 to spend on Thermofite. You know, I mean, we didn't have Thermofite back then, but I don't have $59 to spend on a box of wraps. But just because I was broke didn't mean the other people who I was talking to. So I think that if we change our mindset of I'm not saying anyone's broke or anything like that, but I'm just saying just because you're in a specific situation doesn't mean they are. So you can never assume that they don't want to have multiple products to give them the best results. And I think that I love the fact that you just said, like, when you educate them, then they want to have the better results. And every conversation I have with somebody, I always say, to get the best results, this is what you need. Exactly. And one thing that you said in the video, which like the other video about like exactly what you do for host to post, and saying like, you don't even give them the option at all to order one product. And that changed my mindset, because a lot of times we're like, oh, well, they probably don't have enough money, so we're just going to give them one product. That's not the case. You never know what they're going to want, because if they want to lose 40 pounds, then they're not probably going to use one product. They're going to use multiple products because they want, and we want to find people who are going to be happy with the results, because we all know that the best distributors are our customers. They've already used our products. They already know how we do things. And so if we can turn a customer into a distributor, that's incredible. But if we have to start with providing them with the right products to be able to get the results they want, to then turn them into distributors. So I'm really glad that you said that. Okay.
Just to add to what you just said really fast. One of the biggest things that I took from that at conference to you guys after she said that was the one sentence that I added, or one of many that I added to what I was saying to my customers, that Chris, I always say her name crazy. It's like a tongue twister. That Christy said was to stop asking them what their budget was. And I think that's the biggest mistake that I always made when it came to weight loss, was asking them what their budget was. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to know what I need to stick to so that I'm not going outside their budget. But you guys, people that might be able to afford $100 with the product might tell you their budget's 30 just because they don't want to spend the 100. But if they're educated on what those products actually do and why they're going to get the best benefits from those products, that makes the difference between getting the sale and not. And so the biggest thing that I added to those conversations, it was voice messaging them to explain to them, and it's literally a minute or less, explaining to them in just short detail what those products do and why they work together so they understand what they're actually getting into. And I tell them that I always say it's an investment in themselves, because I don't care if they spend $10 or they spend $100, it's still an investment. And I don't want them to waste their money. And I want them to get the best results possible because that's my job. And so what I tell them is, it's not my business to know your budget, but it's my job to give you the best recommendation that's going to help you get the best results. And that is what I'm concerned about. And that is what I always say to them, because at the end of the day, it's not my business to know their budget. I don't care if they want to spend 30 or they want to spend 1,000. At the end of the day, I want to give them my job. Like, I want to do my job by giving them the best products that I can to help them reach whatever it is that they want to invest into. So that's one big thing that's been a game changer for me, not only for my mindset, my perspective, but it just kind of takes the edge off of, listen, like, I'm not here to ask you what you can or can't afford, but I'm going to give you what I know is going to get you to where you want to be. You know what I mean? Hopefully that helps.
Okay, one more time. It's not my business to know your budget. It's my job to give you
the best recommendation.
I'm writing it in the chat right now. The best recommendation
of products that are going to get you the best results.
That are going to,
get you the best results.
The best result.
And you can kind of word it however you want to, but that's pretty much what I say every time.
I always say, like, we don't have scripts, we have guides, because like, if that's not something, if that's not how you talk, then change up the wording a little bit, but use it as the guide to gear you in that right direction of what you're going to be messaging. Okay, so I'm very curious, because I've seen a lot of your videos of basically like the couple days after, you just signed all these 200 customers. How are you keeping up with your customers now that it's been, 2 months, 3 months, March, April, May? Going on 3 months.
All, I'm like the least organized person you'll ever meet. I'm just real. Like, I'm just being real. I'm really not. I'm just not organized. But what I do, I think that helps me the most is every single time that I'm signing a customer, one, I always do it over text message or they call me. That month I had more people call me than ever because for whatever reason I just did. But I'm pretty good about being able to just do it through text because it's so much faster. But if I'm talking to somebody on Messenger or Instagram or whatever, I always get their phone number like before I ever carry out the conversation, because I feel sometimes if people just are busy or they're at work or they've got things going on, they're more likely to check their phone and their text than they are their Messenger for whatever reason. And so I don't want to lose somebody in a conversation through Messenger because of that when they could have instantly got a text message. So I want more than one way to contact them, because I'm not kidding you guys. When I do follow-ups, I send them a text message, I message them on Facebook, and if they've read either one of them and I can tell they've read it, like you can see when people have read texts or messages, then I go post on their Facebook page. Like, I'm a freak. Okay. Like, I want to make sure they know that I know that they've read my message. And if they're not interested, just let me know. But I'm going to get a hold of you one way or the other because you told me that it was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, they opened the door. So for me, every time I get somebody's phone number, like every time I'm having that conversation, I immediately get their phone number. I put them in my phone and I put LC next to their name so that every time I'm doing a follow-up, or somebody texts me and has a question or whatever, I always know, obviously, it's a loyal customer. So for me, that's kind of how I stay organized per se. But, at the end of the day, like when it's that many customers, I pretty much let my customers come to me. I mean, I check in with them and I follow up with them. I feel like the Connect app, which I'm still teaching myself how to use, because you guys, in February, I used it for the first time, as sad as that is. And when we had BOGO wraps at the end of the month, okay? And apparently, heads up, if you have your iMessage turned on when you do it, you can get blocked from iMessage on Apple. if you send too many messages within a certain period of time. So Cassie got blocked for 72 hours from iMessage because I sent like 800,000 freaking messages, like repetitively. I just sat there and clicked the button for 4 hours. And yeah. So side note, if you use Connect to follow up with people, just make sure that you don't have your iMessage turned on if you have an iPhone, because it will happen to you and you'll be in jail. So
that shows also that, you know, that was your promotional month also. So like when we're promoting, no matter what rank you're going for, there's always going to be a hurdle that you have to go over. And that was like the last couple of days of the month. I remember that happening. Yeah. And it was like freak out mode, but what happened was that you stayed consistent. You had phone numbers. You had, you know, because you did all the due diligence before, you were able to, you know, follow up and still hit that rank promotion that you were going for. That blows my mind that literally you got blocked and you still hit it by
I was like all about stalking on Facebook Messenger. Y'all don't even know. I was like full-fledged psycho. Like I was like, this is not happening right now.
Okay, so that's kind of like, I wanted to go over like the loyal customer part, and especially obviously you get most of your loyal customers through host to post. Kind of just a quick question about distributors. Like, where do most of your distributors come from, and do they come to you or do you go to them first?
I would say probably honestly like almost 100% of the people that I enroll come to me. Either through watching posts, watching like me on social media, people that I've planted seeds with from, you know, a long time ago, maybe that I've lost contact with, or a lot of them recently over the past couple of months have honestly been customers that I've gotten from host posts that I've kept in contact with, that have used multiple products. Like specifically, I have one girl who I think I signed her in February or March. And she started out with the Thermofy X, and now she's trying the coffee, and she is flipping obsessed with the coffee, so much so that she went to work and started freaking out about it. And she sent 2 customers to me within the past 2 days for like 100+ volume, because she's went and told them everything about the product. She's using it. She's hyped about it. She's excited about it. She's even told them like all the information that I need from them to sign them up, and they'll just send it to me and be like, sign me up for this right now. I know it's for 90 days, blah, blah, blah. Just take my money. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll sign you up right now. So it's like, she's excited. And so she was a customer that I started out with 3 months ago or 4 months ago. Right. And so obviously it would be stupid for me not to be like, why are you not signing up as a distributor so you can sign these customers up? And so she came to me today and said, hey, so like, how much is it to be a distributor? Because I have like a lot of friends that are like wanting to buy the coffee. And I'm like, yeah, girl, like you need to sign up like today. So a lot of them have come from referrals, or honestly, a lot of them have come from host posts, like people that didn't sign up as a customer, but they commented on a host post. I friend requested them. Maybe they said they couldn't afford it, or they just weren't interested anymore. And then they start watching my page because of that consistency on a daily basis. And then it sparks their interest, because then they're like, oh, okay, well, like, what is this that she actually does? You know what I mean? So to be honest, that's probably where a lot of them come from. Is current customers, which I think are the best people, because I mean, obviously people can sign up like me who like were completely random and I had never used a product or never heard of the company or had experience or anything. But I feel that a lot of the like best like distributors that I've enrolled have come from people who were customers who had been using the products or have a testimony to share, because then they sign up and they're just like super excited and want to share it with everybody. You know what I mean?
I love that. I love the fact that when a loyal customer, especially like a consistent loyal customer, and seeing great results is like, so tell me about this business. I'm like, yes. Exactly. Okay. Thank you so much, Cassie, for pouring into us. I know that helped me a lot. I hope that helped everybody as well. I want to kind of close this out with Cassie, and then we're going to bring Kasey in as well. Kasey has just impressed so many of us, and you probably don't even know that we've been watching you, but going Ruby in less than 60 days and being consistent. But Cassie, one more question for you is, what is your, like, because of it works? Like, what has it works been able to allow you to do? And then part two of that question is, what is one thing that you're gonna be crossing off your dream board for 2019?
Lord have mercy. Okay, so first, what was my first question? My because of it works. Okay, so I would say my biggest thing, you guys, is like I said earlier, like I joined this business at 23 years old. All I wanted was $100 a month to help me with bills so that I could put gas in my tank or pay my rent on time. Like $100 would have made the biggest difference in my life. $100. That's it. 100. I mean, obviously multiple would be amazing, but like $100 would have made the biggest difference. And for me, it was about that, and it was about meeting people because I was so shy. I had no friends, and that's all I wanted. I wanted to like be involved in something, get out of my comfort zone, meet some people in the area, and I didn't really know what I was getting myself into because obviously shortly after that, this vision had just kind of been thrown upon me in such a short amount of time. And I just had that gut feeling that I was like, okay, this is going to be so much more than $100 a month. This is going to be so much more than just a side business that I'm doing outside of my hairdressing career. And that one decision, not only just to enroll, but that decision to kind of let go, quit my job and just see what this had to hold because I just followed that gut feeling and I had that faith. It completely changed my life. And in all honesty, I could not imagine, I loved what I did, but I could not imagine being stuck in that paycheck to paycheck, struggling to get by, 9 to 5 routine that I would have been stuck in for the rest of my life when I joined. And for those of you that don't know, kind of my aha moment when I joined, because I feel like there's a lot of people that join this business that don't want to do this full time. And so I have so many people ask me sometimes like, well, like what made you want to do it full time? And I will never forget when I joined, and right after I went diamond, Erin went Prez, and she had quit her job, and it was like her first weekend, like home full time. And her and her husband and her little boy at the time went on a bike ride on a Saturday morning, and she posted a video on Facebook. And I got home from work on a Saturday after like a busy freaking day at the salon because Saturdays were so crazy. And I was exhausted, and I just happened to like bring up her Facebook, and I saw that she had posted this video, and I was like bawling, like hysterically bawling, because I was like, I literally will never be able to have a Saturday morning with my future family where I wake up and go get donuts or have a bike ride on a Saturday because I will always be working in a salon on a Saturday. Always. That's just part of the job. And so every jobs have their you have to's, right? And so for me, that was kind of my moment where I was like, if I don't make a change, like I'd never really thought about it intensely like that before. I was like, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. Like, is that what I want? And my answer was no. And so for me, that because of it works is just the freedom to have the life that I have at such a young age from 23 and I'm 27 now, to think about the day when I do get married and I do have kids and I get to experience all of those things that so many people have to miss out on because of having some kind of job that holds you back from that. For me, that's the biggest thing, and more time with my family, because I never really got to spend time with my family when I joined this business because I lived far away at the time. Or I was, again, always working. And so that is the biggest thing for me, that I would take away from this in a heartbeat if I never made money from it tomorrow. So that's it for me. Now, dream board, I knew you were going to ask me this. And so I was looking at my dream board thinking, okay, what am I going to say? Like, what am I going to talk about? Because I put very selective things on my dream board this year, which I need to add to because I've crossed a lot of them off already, which is crazy. But I know this is going to kind of sound crazy, but I know a lot of you probably have these on your dream boards too. But for me, I have a couple different ones on my dream board of people that I want to help in this business within my team. And I'm just not going to go into super big detail because if I do, I'm going to start crying and I'm going to hate myself because I cry about everything if you know me. So I have like, let me look at it really quick. I have like, I have this on my phone, you guys, so that like I never don't remember, because how many times do you put so many little things on your dream board and then you're like, well, what did I even freaking put on there, right? So that's why this year I put like selective things so that I wouldn't
It's so funny you said that, because I've talked to a couple people recently who have taken off their dream board and chosen, like, kind of like you said, more selective things rather than just a whole bunch of stuff, so that they can have their vision be more clear rather than just a, you know, a mess of things that they want. That's funny that you said that.
That's literally exactly what I did, because I used to do that. I would put all these random things, and then half of them I would do and half of them I would forget. And
I think it's almost like, because we're almost using other people's dreams until you really do know what your dream is. And it's an evolving thing that you go through. And because I did the exact same thing just recently. I have 5 things on my dream board now, when before it was probably like 20. But it was kind of like, do I really need that? Or is it, do I want it? You know? And yeah, I could get it, but do I really, like, what is that going to help my life? Or, you know what I mean? And what you're kind of talking about is one of mine as well, where it's like specific things. And I learned this from Kelsey, and it changed everything for me, because we know in this business is the more we help other people, the more our paycheck goes up. It's just how our compensation plan works. But I saw a video of hers, this was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. And what she did was she took her dream on her dream board, and then she asked her team members on her team, she put a sticky note over her personal dream of her team member's dream, and helped, for example, like, let's say her dream is to buy a car. Well, she put her team member, Jessica, her dream of buying a house, you know, on top of it, so that when she helped her friend Jessica, you know, be able to have the funds and build their business to buy the house, obviously Kelsey could buy her dream car. So I started doing that. And like, my dream board now has a couple different of my leaders' dreams on it, because I think knowing other people's dreams inspire us to not only help them, but also to inspire us to learn what our dreams are. So I love the fact that you just said, like, you simplified your dream board.
Yeah, it's crazy, because I looked at it the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, like, some of those things I've already done and I didn't even realize that I did them. Like, okay, now what? Like, what am I gonna put there now? So yeah, for me, the biggest thing on there, in all honesty, which is like, after like hearing Kelsey say that, because I remember when she did that, I was like, that's freaking awesome. How come you've never told me to do that? So anyways, one of mine is to help like so many people go diamond, help so many people go triple, help so many people go Prez or whatever. Because for me, like, you guys, when you get to a certain point in this business, yes, you're still doing it for yourself and you're still wanting to earn an income and it's still your business, but you get to a certain point in leadership and within your business where it's so much more fun to help other people get there too than it is to keep moving forward, in all honesty, because you all move forward together. And so for me, that's kind of one of the biggest things that I have on there that's more important to me than anything this year, because I want so badly to have other people get to where I am, because it's not fun to be there by yourself. And it's so much more fun, in my opinion, to watch my team promote than to watch myself promote. Because when I promoted, I didn't even know I promoted, because I was like, I don't care. Like, I want to, like, you guys are so much, this is so much more amazing to like have your first VIPs, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so much more exciting, in my opinion. So for me, that would be my goal, like my biggest one for this year. So that's me.
I love that. You have such a big heart, and you're definitely a yellow.
Oh my God, I'm so yellow. Right.
By far. Okay, Cassie, thank you so much. We're going to transition over to Kasey and Tracy. All these names are all rhyming. Cassie, Kasey, Tracy. We're going to transition, and Tracy's going to take over, and we're going to be spotlighting Kasey. So sorry, mom life here. And Tracy, go ahead and take over.
Hey, first off, Cassie, thank you. I always love hearing your story. You always get me hyped up. I'm yellow just like you are, so I love hearing it.
Oh my gosh.
Kasey.
You said Cassie or Kasey?
I was talking to Cassie.
It's
now
Cassie.
I'm talking to Kasey.
Oh, Kasey.
Oh my goodness.
I was talking to Cassie because we're too much alike with the whole yellow thing. Now I'm going to talk to my girl Kasey. This girl, I've seen her name popping up left and right. Her upline was talking about her. Once I finally talked to her today, I realized, yes, this is who I want to interview. I want my distributors to hear her because she is doing everything exactly how a distributor is supposed to do it. And this girl went executive in her first 18 days. She went Ruby within her first 2 months. she's at a, like, average right now with this month, which we all hit those. And her story is just, I just loved it. So, Kasey, first off, tell me, how did you, you can unmute yourself. I don't know. Megan, do you need to unmute her? Okay. So, Kasey, first off, tell us, how did you even hear about It Works? How did you even get involved in this?
Well, I actually, one of my friends, Kasey Nero, who's actually my upline, she signed me. I think her post about products, which is what got me interested. Sorry, my video is all screwy. That's what got me interested in the first place, was products, and I just couldn't afford it. So a couple weeks later, I saw she was looking for somebody to join her team, and it was during the $20 promotion. So I just thought, why not? I'm, at the very least, I'm gonna get product cheaper, and that's kind of where I started with all of this. Was just, I could join for $20, I could get product and kind of see where it goes.
So you were one of the $20 joiners, and look at you now. All right, let me ask you this, because we're running out of time. But so when you started and you got your website and everything, did you jump right in and just start posting? Did you like do our boot camps? Did you do the Zoom trainings and kind of just wait and slowly jump in, or how did you get started?
I dove right in. I did all of the training, every video that Kelsey and Courtney tagged me in, all the newbie training, the how to do a host to post, all of that. I watched everything. If I saw Kelsey post, I was posting what she posted. I was asking Courtney and Kelsey a million questions. Just what to do today, what do I do tomorrow, that sort of thing. So yeah, I just jumped right in.
That's awesome. And as leaders, we want to hear from you guys. So I'll tell everybody that if we don't hear from you, we get worried. So we want to get the questions. So don't ever feel like that. So you jumped in, bam, you got executive, then you're Ruby by the second month. What were you doing? Can you give us a little idea of what you were doing or promoting or posting a lot about?
I was posting consistently every single day. Consistency is the key. I was doing post to post every day, also adding to my network. That was a big thing. It still is. I mean, I probably add 50 friends every day. But really, host to post was the biggest thing.
The host of posting. How often a week
Yes,
do you
absolutely.
post about that? Do you post do you post about it and get people to come to you, or do you cold message people about it?
Both. I'm posting about our giveaways. That's how I get most of my host to post, is all of our giveaways. And also I've done a couple product giveaways on my own. Just a couple different bottles of Thermophyte that I did a giveaway for. And then I do the host.
All right. So
I have a question.
What is your next?
What do you like when you have someone post for you? What's your like go-to status? Like to ask them to do? Is it Thermophyte? Is it hair, skin, and nails? Is it which one is like your go-to?
I kind of flop between them. While we're doing our 49 promo to sign up distributors, that was a post I did for a host to post. Had them post anybody looking for a part-time gig type of thing. Normally I'll do the Thermophyte post to post, but sometimes I just switch.
It's nice to get a change. I'm excited because we got new products coming, so we're going to have something new to post about. Definitely. So, what's your next goal? You're Ruby right now, right?
Right. I was hoping to hit Emerald this month, and the month's not over, so I'm still going for that. But that's also something I wanted to touch on, was just, you're going to go through periods like I'm in right now, kind of in a slump where it doesn't feel like anything I'm doing is working. I'm not signing very many people. I feel like we're all going to go through that, and everybody has, and just keep going. Don't stop, because if you stop, then you're going to hit a dead end, and you can't continue to climb higher if you're not working your butt off every day.
That's right. If you stop, I mean, I'll hear people tell me I'm a powerhouse. I'm not a powerhouse. I have my days where I'll have a week where I don't get anything, but I don't stop what I'm doing, because if you stop to start back up, you got to start all over again. And people are waiting for you to stop posting about this stuff, because they want to know, okay, it didn't work. She's not talking about it anymore. They come to me now because they're like, it must be working because she's still talking about it. She won't shut up about it. You got to be consistent. You got to just keep posting. And I'm glad you said that, because we all have our down times, but you keep doing your 6 list, and you just keep going, because it will come back and you will hit emerald and then diamond.
Can I say something? I just get these
Yes.
moments, so I got to preach for a second.
Birthday girl.
Okay, so in this business, there's times for sowing, or times for planting and times for sowing. And you're going to hear the planting and sowing from like pretty much any leader. But when you're planting, and Kelsey says it the best way, where you can only control the number of people who you plant the seeds with. Can't control when they're going to sow. It's the same thing with the plant. It's a great example, and I really want to do a live about this tomorrow. It's been on my heart to talk about it. My mom gave me, because my Mother's Day was last weekend, and my birthday is tomorrow. So my mom gave me from my son some flowers, and when she walked in with them, I was like, "Are those dead? Like, what is this?" Because they weren't blossomed yet. And my initial reaction was, okay, thanks. But I put them in water. I was able to water them. I continued to let them be out in some sun. I was able to pour into them, literally. And a couple days later, they are the prettiest flowers I have ever seen. And that's the same thing with our business is, there's times for us planting these seeds, and the times that we're going to see them sow. And I always talk about how the business is always 3 months behind the work we put into it. Mm-hmm. And so if you be consistent, let's say tomorrow, today you planted 10 seeds. Tomorrow you plant 10 seeds. The next day you plant 10 seeds. And I'm talking 10 meaning like people are really, really interested. So you might have to reach out to 100 people and talking about the business, but 10 people are like, I'm really interested into this business or interested into that product. If you're planting those seeds every single day, imagine 3 months from now, imagine 2 months from now, imagine 6 months from now, how many people are going to be signing up. But I love that you're not giving up. And when you just said, I wanted to go emerald, you have, oh my goodness, I think it's 16 days, 17 days left for this month.
Oh yeah.
And just like Cassie was telling us, in such a short amount of time, so much can happen, but it's the mindset. So Kasey, I want you to write down tomorrow, or tonight, but tomorrow, that mentality, because I know the day is almost over, of I'm going emerald, or I'm even going diamond, because anything can happen. And there's that $10,000 bonus on the line right now. And I know you deserve it. And I believe in you that you can do this, but you have to have the mentality of I'm going to do it. Not I wanted to do it. I'm going to do it. Because I'm in the same mentality as you right now. It seems so far away, because I'm going for Prez for this month, but it seems so far away, and there's so much to do ahead of time. But just like Cassie was saying, don't look at the numbers, just get to work and keep doing it over and over and over again. Just like Tracy said, of continue doing our 6 list. But our business is just very, very, very repetitive, and just doing the same thing over and over again. Cassie was saying she, with her follow-up, she messaged people, she texted people, she wrote on their wall, and it was just not giving up. And so I believe in you that you can go emerald, maybe even diamond if that's what your goal is, but you have to set that decision. I always say you have to decide it, you have to pray about it, you have to work for it, and then you'll achieve it. But you can't do if you don't do one of those, it's not going to happen. So I'm excited to watch your journey this month, because now I know where you want to go. And now you have people holding you accountable.
And it can so happen. I've seen stranger things happen on the very last day of the month. So never, ever, ever say never. And if you don't hit it this month, you're that much closer to it next month. So that's all I've got. I appreciate you coming on here, Kasey. I appreciate Cassie coming on and helping everybody. And what else? You got anything else, Megan?
I actually did have one more thing I wanted to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. So I wanted to touch on, Ashley Mayfield did a Boom Zoom like a week or so ago. It was just, the inspiration that I got from that was incredible. But
Yes.
Brittany Landrum actually said something that just completely resonated with me. She said, be happy for other people's success, your teammates, other teams, everyone in this business. You have to make sure that you're happy for those successes, because how can God bless your business if you're not blessing them?
Exactly.
And
Thank
that
you.
has been the number one thing that I've been going back to the last couple weeks.
Where's your clipboard at?
That's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. I know we talked about that earlier today, and I totally got sidetracked. Megan and I have a habit of doing that sometimes. But that is true. We do. One team, one mission. We're all reaching for the same goal. So to watch other people get there, it's amazing, because you're going right. You're going there too. So it is a good thing. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Okay, guys,
What
that's
else
all.
you got
That's
for us?
all we got, I think, tonight. But thank you so much, both Cassie and Kasey and Tracy and everybody, for showing up, because we all know that when we show up, we go up, and we're going to the top, and we're going to the top together. So that's it. You guys have a great night. I'll post this recording later, and make sure your leaders get it to all of the other teams as well. Bye, guys.
Thanks.